In today's ever-changing world, where uncertainty seems to loom around every corner, anxiety has become an uninvited guest in many of our lives. We feel overwhelmed by the constant pressure to do more, achieve more, and become more. The mind races with worries about the future or ruminates over the past, leaving little room for peace. Yet, what if there was an ancient path, forged through centuries of wisdom, that could guide us back to calm? A way to reclaim our minds from the relentless grip of anxiety and discover a deeper sense of tranquility. The philosophy of Stoicism, born over 2,000 years ago in ancient Greece and Rome, offers exactly this, a practical approach to mastering our inner world amidst life's chaos. Through the teachings of great Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, we learn that while we cannot control what happens outside of us, we have power over how we choose to respond. They teach us to cultivate virtues like courage, wisdom, and temperance, which serve as the foundation for a life of meaning and resilience. In this video, we will delve into 10 transformative lessons from the Stoics, each offering a unique way to master your anxiety and live with greater peace. Each lesson challenges you to reflect deeply, to question your assumptions, and to see the world and yourself in a new light. Stay with us until the end to unlock the full potential of Stoic wisdom in your life and discover how these ancient insights can empower you to navigate even the most turbulent times with grace and strength. 1. True wealth is not wanting more. True wealth is not wanting more, Epictetus tells us. But what does this mean in a world where we are constantly bombarded with messages that urge us to seek more money, more success, more possessions? Why do we find ourselves chasing after what we do not have, even when we already possess so much? Stoicism teaches us that the relentless pursuit of more is often a source of our deepest anxieties. We become trapped in a cycle where enough is never truly enough, and our minds grow restless, fixating on what is missing rather than appreciating what is present. Imagine, for a moment, that you have all that you ever desired. Would your mind finally find peace? Or would it quickly fixate on the next thing to acquire, the next mountain to climb? The Stoics understood that real contentment comes not from the abundance of possessions, but from cultivating a state of mind that is content with little. They urge us to turn inward, to ask ourselves, what is it that I truly need to live a fulfilled life? Epictetus's lesson is not about rejecting ambition or the desire for a better life, but about recognizing the difference between needs and desires. By embracing gratitude for what we already have, we can break free from the anxiety that comes from constantly striving for more. When we shift our focus from external gains to internal contentment, we begin to experience a profound sense of peace that no material possession can provide. Reflect on this. How often do your worries stem from a desire for something you do not yet possess? How much energy do you spend comparing your life to others, imagining that their achievements or possessions would bring you the happiness you seek? What if, instead of longing for what you lack, you cultivated a deep appreciation for the blessings already in your life? To integrate this Stoic wisdom into your life, try this exercise. Each morning, write down 3 things you are grateful for. Focus not on the extraordinary, but on the simple. Your health, a supportive friend, the warmth of the sun on your face. As you practice this regularly, notice how your perspective begins to shift. The constant craving for more fades, replaced by a quiet contentment with what already is. This is not a call to abandon all goals or aspirations. Rather, it is an invitation to seek them from a place of inner sufficiency, not desperation. By doing so, you can reduce the anxiety that comes from feeling like you are constantly behind, always needing to catch up. Instead, you move through life with a sense of enoughness, a recognition that true wealth lies not in the pursuit of more, but in the peace that comes from wanting less. And as you deepen this practice, you may find that the mind quiets, the heart softens, and a space opens within you, a space where anxiety has less room to thrive. 2. Self-sufficiency in happiness. Happiness is achieved when you stop waiting for others to change and start changing yourself. This timeless insight from Stoic philosophy challenges a common human tendency, placing our happiness in the hands of others. How often do we find ourselves thinking that if only someone else behaved differently, if only our circumstances shifted, then we could be at peace? Yet, this mindset leaves our well-being vulnerable to forces beyond our control. Stoicism teaches us that our emotional state should not be dependent on external factors, whether the approval of others, the behavior of those around us, or even the outcomes of our efforts. Instead, we have the power to cultivate our happiness from within, independent of the actions or opinions of others. By doing so, we become more resilient, less prone to the anxieties that arise when we feel that our contentment is at the mercy of others. Consider this: how much of your emotional turmoil stems from waiting for others to change, from hoping that they will see things your way, or from expecting them to meet your needs? What if you shifted that focus inward and asked yourself, what can I do to create my own sense of peace, regardless of how others behave? This Stoic perspective is not about detachment or indifference, but about taking full responsibility for your own state of mind. It invites us to adopt a mindset of acceptance and compassion, both for ourselves and for others. When we stop expecting the world to change to fit our desires, we free ourselves from the frustrations that come from unmet expectations. To put this lesson into practice, try reframing a challenging situation with this question: what part of this is within my control? Instead of focusing on what others should do, focus on your own actions, thoughts, and reactions. You may find that by shifting the focus inward, you regain a sense of agency, reducing the anxiety that comes from feeling at the mercy of external events. By learning to find happiness within, you become a master of your own well-being. You learn to find joy in your own growth, satisfaction in your own progress, and peace in the knowledge that you are not reliant on others for your sense of self-worth. And in this self-reliance, anxiety loses much of its power over you. 3. Mastering your thoughts. The power of perspective. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. How often do you find yourself lost in a spiral of anxious thoughts, envisioning all the worst-case scenarios? How many of these imagined fears actually come to pass? The Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us that much of our suffering comes not from the world itself, but from our own minds, which magnify potential threats and dwell on uncertainties. Our thoughts have immense power over our emotional state. When we allow our minds to run wild with worry, we become trapped in a cycle of fear. Yet most of these fears never manifest. Stoicism teaches us to question these thoughts, to take a step back and observe them with detachment, recognizing that they are often distortions of reality rather than reflections of it. Ask yourself, what am I truly afraid of in this moment? Is this fear based on a real threat, or is it a projection of my own mind? By separating our thoughts from reality, we can see that many of our worries are like shadows, intangible and insubstantial, yet capable of casting a dark cloud over our peace of mind. One of the most effective ways to apply this lesson is through mindfulness and meditation. When anxious thoughts arise, instead of engaging with them, simply observe them as passing clouds. Notice their impermanence. Recognize that just as they come, they will also go. This practice helps us break the cycle of rumination and grounds us in the present moment, where life is rarely as threatening as our imagination suggests. By mastering our thoughts in this way, we reclaim our power over our minds. We learn that while we may not be able to control every thought that arises, we can control how much attention we give to them. And in choosing to focus on what is real rather than what is imagined, we can find a calm that anxiety struggles to disrupt. Stay with us as we continue exploring these insights. Each lesson builds upon the last, offering new perspectives to deepen your understanding of how Stoicism can transform the way you navigate life's challenges. And if you find these teachings valuable, be sure to continue watching until the end to discover the full depth of wisdom that the Stoics offer. 4. Simplicity brings peace. You need not much, you need very little. These words from Seneca challenge a fundamental assumption of our modern lives, that happiness comes from accumulation, from acquiring more things, achieving more goals, and reaching ever higher standards of success. But what if the key to a peaceful mind lies not in adding more, but in wanting less? The Stoics believed that simplicity is the path to inner peace. When we focus on the essentials and let go of excessive desires, we free ourselves from the anxiety that comes with constantly striving for more. The more we simplify our lives, the more space we create for what truly matters: relationships, personal growth, and the quiet contentment of being present in the moment. Ask yourself, how much of my stress comes from pursuing things that do not truly add value to my life? How often do you find yourself feeling burdened by the desire for more wealth, more status, more possessions? What if, instead, you shifted your focus to appreciating what you already have and finding joy in the simple pleasures of life? To integrate this Stoic lesson into your life, consider the practice of voluntary simplicity. It doesn't mean abandoning all your possessions or ambitions, but making conscious choices about what truly deserves your time, energy, and attention. Reflect on what you truly need to be content. As you do this, you might find that many of the things you thought were essential are, in fact, distractions. Try an exercise in decluttering, whether it's your physical space or your mental space. Let go of what no longer serves you. Notice the lightness that comes with releasing these burdens. In this newfound simplicity, you may find a deeper sense of peace and a reduction in the anxiety that comes from feeling overwhelmed by life's complexities. By choosing less, you gain more time, more energy, and more clarity. And as you embrace simplicity, you'll discover that the mind, too, becomes simpler, more focused, and less prone to the chaotic swirl of anxious thoughts. 5. Focus on virtue, not outcomes. Virtue is the only good. These words from Seneca remind us that true fulfillment comes not from the outcomes of our actions, but from the character we cultivate along the way. In a world that often measures success by tangible results, money, recognition, status, Stoicism offers a different perspective. It suggests that our well-being lies in our commitment to virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, rather than in external achievements. How often do you tie your sense of self-worth to outcomes? Do you feel anxious when things don't go as planned, or when your efforts seem to fall short of expectations? What if, instead of focusing on the results, you focused on living with integrity, doing what is right regardless of the outcome? Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the results of our actions, we can control the quality of those actions. By aligning our lives with virtues, we can find a sense of purpose and meaning that is unshakable, even when external circumstances are uncertain. When we commit to being wise, just, and courageous, we create an inner foundation that remains steady, no matter how turbulent the external world becomes. Reflect on your own life. What virtues do you value most? Are there areas where you could act with more courage, wisdom, or compassion? By focusing on these qualities, you can begin to shift your attention from external validation to internal growth. A practical way to embrace this lesson is to set daily intentions based on virtues. For example, instead of setting a goal like, "I will achieve this task," you might set an intention like, "I will act with patience today," or "I will seek to understand others before judging them." Notice how this shift in focus changes your experience. When you prioritize virtues, anxiety about outcomes diminishes because your sense of success is rooted in your own actions and attitudes, not in circumstances beyond your control. Now, as we reach this point in our exploration of Stoic teachings, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned. How can you apply these lessons in your own life to find greater peace and resilience? If you've found these insights valuable, let us know by staying with us until the end. The journey through Stoicism has much more to offer, and your commitment to this path is the first step toward mastering your inner world. And if these ideas resonate with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. How have the teachings of Stoicism helped you face your own challenges? Your reflections might inspire others who are on a similar path. 6. Acceptance of pain. Embrace the unavoidable. The Stoics taught that pain is an inevitable part of life, but suffering is often a choice. As Epictetus wisely noted, the Stoic is capable of experiencing pain but not suffering it. But what does this mean in practice? How can we endure life's hardships without letting them overwhelm us? In our modern world, it's easy to resist pain and discomfort, to try to escape or avoid it at all costs. We might distract ourselves, numb our feelings, or even deny that we're struggling. Yet, Stoicism offers a different path. Instead of resisting pain, we are encouraged to accept it as a natural part of the human experience. By doing so, we lessen the suffering that comes from resisting what cannot be changed. Consider this. What pains or challenges are you currently facing? Are you fighting against them, hoping they will disappear? Or are you accepting them as part of your journey? When we resist pain, we add layers of frustration and despair to our initial discomfort. But when we accept pain, we free ourselves from these additional burdens, allowing us to face adversity with a calm mind. To put this lesson into practice, try a technique known as Stoic visualization. Take a moment each day to imagine a difficult situation or a potential loss, and picture yourself responding to it with resilience and calm. This isn't about expecting the worst, but about mentally preparing for challenges, so that when they arise, you are not caught off guard. As Epictetus said, it is not events that disturb people, but their judgments concerning them. By preparing your mind, you reduce the power that unexpected pain has over you. The acceptance of pain does not mean seeking it out or becoming indifferent to joy. Rather, it means recognizing that challenges are part of life's fabric. When we embrace this truth, we are no longer thrown off balance by every setback or hardship. And in this acceptance, we find a strength that can endure any storm. As you integrate this perspective, notice how your relationship with pain shifts. Do you find yourself more capable of facing difficulties with grace? Does the fear of discomfort begin to lose its hold over you? By accepting pain as a natural part of the human condition, you open the door to resilience, a key aspect of Stoicism that can transform how you experience life's inevitable challenges. 7. Mastering the mind. You control your reactions. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher-emperor, once wrote, "If you are distressed by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it." This profound insight reveals a crucial aspect of Stoic philosophy. Our power lies in our response to life, not in life itself. But how often do we blame our distress on external circumstances, believing that if only things were different, we would be at peace? Stoicism teaches us that our minds have the power to shape our experience of reality. It is not the events themselves that cause us distress, but the meaning we assign to them. This means that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can control how we interpret those events and, consequently, how we react. Reflect on a recent situation that caused you anxiety or frustration. Was it truly the event that upset you, or was it your interpretation of the event? For instance, when someone criticizes you, is it their words that cause you pain, Or is it your belief that their opinion has the power to define your worth? To apply this lesson in your daily life, start by questioning your automatic reactions. When you feel anger, fear, or disappointment, pause and ask yourself, is this reaction based on facts, or is it shaped by my own judgments? By creating this space between stimulus and response, you gain the freedom to choose a more balanced, measured reaction. Imagine, for example, receiving criticism at work. Instead of immediately feeling defensive or hurt, a Stoic might pause and think, is there truth in this feedback that I can learn from? If yes, then the criticism becomes an opportunity for growth rather than a personal attack. If not, then it is simply the opinion of another, which need not disturb your inner peace. This approach empowers you to reclaim control over your emotional state. It encourages you to be the master of your reactions, not a victim of external events. And as you practice this, you may find that many of the things that once disturbed you lose their power. The world becomes less chaotic because your mind is no longer swept away by every challenge. As we continue exploring these lessons, consider how changing your perspective on events can transform your experience of life. By mastering your mind in this way, you take a significant step toward the inner tranquility that Stoicism offers. And if this resonates with you, continue to the next lesson, where we will delve deeper into the practices that can bring this mindset to life. 8. Simplicity in action. Focus on what is within your control. The Stoics remind us again and again that our true power lies in recognizing what we can control and what we cannot. Seneca's words, "We do not belong to ourselves, our mind and body belong to us," speak to the importance of this distinction. While we might wish to control the actions of others, the outcomes of our efforts, or the circumstances of our lives, Stoicism teaches us that our control is limited to our own thoughts, actions, and responses. Why is this distinction so crucial in the battle against anxiety? Often our stress stems from our attempts to change things beyond our reach. We expend energy worrying about how others perceive us, what the future holds, or what might go wrong. This leaves us feeling powerless and overwhelmed. But when we redirect our focus to what truly lies within our control, we reclaim our sense of agency. Ask yourself, what am I currently trying to control that is beyond my reach? How might my life change if I focused only on what I can directly influence? Consider the relief that comes from letting go of what is outside your grasp. Imagine the freedom of focusing solely on your own actions, knowing that this is where your power truly lies. One practical way to embrace this Stoic lesson is through the exercise of daily journaling. Each day, reflect on what happened that was beyond your control and what actions you took that were within it. This practice can help you recognize patterns where your energy is being drained by things outside your influence. Over time, you will find it easier to accept what you cannot change and focus your efforts on what you can, your own thoughts, decisions, and reactions. By practicing this perspective, you'll find that much of your anxiety fades away. The world becomes less threatening when you realize that you are not responsible for controlling it, only for managing yourself within it. This shift is at the heart of Stoicism and can transform your experience of life's challenges. As you adopt this mindset, notice how your reactions change. Do you feel more empowered, less overwhelmed? Share your experiences with this practice in the comments below. Your reflections can be a source of encouragement to others who are also learning to embrace the wisdom of the Stoics. 9. Cultivate determination and positive thinking. Never say to yourself, "I cannot do this," but rather, "I will not do this." Marcus Aurelius, known for his wisdom and leadership, challenges us with this idea. It is easy to feel overwhelmed by life's challenges, to convince ourselves that we are incapable or unworthy of achieving our goals. Yet, Stoicism teaches us that our mindset shapes our reality. It urges us to replace thoughts of self-doubt with a mindset of determination and resilience. How often do you find yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't handle this situation"? How much of your anxiety is fueled by these limiting beliefs? What if you could reframe these thoughts and ask yourself instead, what is one small step I can take toward overcoming this challenge? The Stoics believed that while we cannot control the outcomes of our efforts, we can control our determination to try. This is not about denying the difficulties we face, but about approaching them with a sense of inner strength. By shifting our focus from what we lack to what we can do, we open up new possibilities for growth and achievement. To apply this lesson in your life, practice positive self-affirmations. Replace thoughts like, "I can't handle this," with affirmations such as, "I am capable of facing challenges with resilience." It may feel strange at first, but over time, this practice can reshape your mental habits and build a foundation of inner strength. Visualize yourself overcoming obstacles with courage and determination. Picture how you would act if you believed fully in your own abilities. This visualization, grounded in Stoic philosophy, prepares your mind to face difficulties with a sense of calm confidence, rather than being paralyzed by fear. By cultivating this mindset, you'll find that anxiety loses much of its power over you. Instead of being overwhelmed by the magnitude of a challenge, you'll focus on the next step, and then the next. You'll see obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities to grow stronger. Stay with us as we continue exploring the final lessons from the wisdom of Stoicism. Each step builds a stronger foundation for mastering your inner world and finding peace amidst life's uncertainties. Remember, the journey is as valuable as the destination, and your commitment to learning these lessons can change the way you experience life itself. 10. Gratitude over greed. Finding wealth in contentment. Epictetus once said, "True wealth is not wanting more." This simple yet profound statement invites us to reconsider our understanding of prosperity. In a world that constantly pushes us to acquire more, be it material possessions, social status, or professional achievements, Stoicism reminds us that contentment, not accumulation, is the key to a fulfilled life. But what does it mean to find satisfaction in what we already have? How can this shift in perspective help us overcome anxiety? Many of our anxieties stem from the fear of not having enough. We worry about financial security, career progression, or how others perceive our success. Yet, Stoic philosophy teaches that real wealth comes from being satisfied with what is already in our possession. When we practice gratitude, we shift our focus from scarcity to abundance, from what is missing to what is present. Reflect on this for a moment. What blessings in your life have you overlooked in your pursuit of more? Are there aspects of your daily existence that bring you joy, but go unnoticed amidst the rush to achieve more? What might change if you focused more on appreciating these aspects than on seeking new ones? A practical way to incorporate this lesson is through a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be grand achievements. Simple joys like a warm meal, a kind word from a friend, or the beauty of a sunset can be just as meaningful. As you practice this regularly, you may notice that your mind becomes less preoccupied with what you lack and more attuned to the wealth that is already within your grasp. This shift in mindset doesn't mean abandoning your goals or aspirations. It means recognizing that your happiness does not hinge on achieving them. By focusing on gratitude, you free yourself from the relentless pursuit of more and find a deeper, more stable sense of fulfillment. And as anxiety about what you don't have fades away, you make room for the peace that comes from appreciating what you do have. Gratitude transforms our relationship with the world. It teaches us that wealth is not measured by the size of our bank account, but by the richness of our perspective. As you practice this, notice how your experience of life changes. Share your thoughts in the comments. How has the practice of gratitude influenced your journey towards a more stoic mindset? As we journey through the wisdom of Stoicism, we find that the true antidote to anxiety lies not in controlling the chaos around us, but in mastering the mind within. By focusing on what is within our control, embracing simplicity, cultivating gratitude, and aligning our actions with virtue, we create a foundation of resilience and inner calm. Stoic philosophy teaches us that while we cannot avoid life's challenges, we can transform how we experience them. Now, it's your turn to put these lessons into practice. Reflect on how you can integrate these teachings into your daily life and share your thoughts in the comments. If this journey has resonated with you, like this video, subscribe for more insights and share it with others who may benefit. Thank you for joining this exploration of Stoic wisdom. May it guide you to a life of greater peace and strength.